Metro Detroiters will have the chance to cast their votes ahead of the February 27th election this year. While the primary election is just under 2 weeks away, early in-person voting is now an option for the first time ever in Michigan.
And that's because in November of 2022, Michigan voters overwhelmingly approved a constitutional amendment giving voters the right to vote at early voting sites before statewide and federal elections. So, what's the difference between early voting and absentee voting, and who qualifies for it?
Rod Maloney live with us now with what you need to know to make sure your ballot is counted. Rod.
Kara, Devin, take a look at this. The early voting right now in 2024, we started this weekend. It's only going to be 9 days long, but there is a limit on it, and it's much bigger than just the 9 days, but 29 days. That could be coming in the years ahead. Based on the 2022 election, there are now 3 ways for Michiganders to vote. From home with an absentee ballot, early in-person voting, which is the same as the traditional election day, but with limited polling places, and then the regular election day in-person voting. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson says early in-person is really just like regular day of in-person voting.
A voter comes in, gets their ballot, marks their ballot, and enters it into the voting tabulator. Those ballots will be counted on Election Day.
When it comes to early in-person, the Secretary of State's office says voters from more than one precinct, city, or township may be assigned to a single shared early voting site. And while it sounds confusing, some voters may only have one assigned early voting site, while others may have several locations to choose from. And in rural communities, entire cities or counties may share early voting sites. Mary Clark is the Delta Township clerk. She says early voting helps with the request she's received a lot over the years.
Absentee voters frequently, very frequently, ask for the opportunity to put their own ballot in the tabulator, and this new process affords voters this opportunity.
Just not at the same time. It's an either-or proposition. Starting this weekend, the early voting will last 9 days, starting on Saturday the 17th and then running through February 25th. The primary election day is February 27th for regular in-person voting. Now, the Secretary of State's office says that if you're going to be coming and voting, you need to be registered, or at least they want you to be registered. Now, if you go to a clerk's office and the office is open and they have early voting, you can register and then go ahead and vote. They also say, please bring a photo ID. It's not required, but if you don't have one, you're going to have to fill out paperwork in order to be able to vote. Reporting live, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Rod, and you can expect a lot more from our Local 4 team during this election season by scanning the QR code on your screen. You can find your early voting location. You can view a sample of your specific ballot and confirm whether or not you're registered to vote even in this primary election. If you can't scan the code, we've got all the information posted at the election section of clickondetroit.com.